Speaker. Mr Assistant Speaker, I stand with my colleagues in the Labor Party and the member for Watson in saying to this government, withdraw this legislation. It is unfair, it is odious, and the member for Mitchell has just described and shown his absolute ignorance of what Australia is and who we are as a nation. This government has determined that somehow or other, and it wasn't any of the security agencies that asked for this, we have been sold by the Minister for Immigration that somehow or other this legislation was necessary for national security. That was clearly a falsehood. We know very clearly that this has not been requested by any of the security agencies, and in fact it has been put together, as the member for Watson said, by two members of the Liberal Party. The electorate of Barton, which I represent, is an electorate, as many electorates are, particularly on our side, that is made up by waves of migration. People who have made the most difficult choice of leaving the country of their birth, of leaving everything that they know for many different circumstances to come to Australia to give their children a better life. And this government has taken it upon itself to make it impossible for those people who love this country, who are committed to this country, to never become citizens, and I will tell a case history about that in a moment. The introduction of an unreasonable English language test, and it is unreasonable, member for Mitchell. You probably wouldn't even pass it. And then also increasing the residency requirements from 1 year to 4, and being told that somehow this is about national security. Well, hello, the people that become citizens have already been vetted twice because they are permanent residents, a slight fact that has been overlooked by the ignorance on the other side. And you said, member for Mitchell, that our people should go out and tell our constituencies what our view is. We have, and you know what? They are backing us in. They are backing us in because they know this is wrong. They know this is unfair. And many of the people, we knock on the doors, and we've all got them as well as you. Women who are middle-aged, who have come here post-World War II, that will never ever pass these English language tests, yet they've contributed, they've paid taxes, they've raised family and they've sent their children to school. Let me tell you about one particular personal story. At a community forum we held in Rockdale, where the member for Watson came along, we had over 100 people. We didn't have enough chairs in the room that night for people that wanted to hear about this so-called necessary citizenship rebranding. At that forum there was a woman there called Penny. Penny and her partner, who is an Australian citizen, had a little boy. He's 20 months old now, and he is an Australian citizen. She is from Canada, but these new rules will force her into not being able to return to Canada till 2020 if there is an emergency in her friends and families, because it will put her capacity to apply for citizenship into jeopardy. She understands, Penny understands, as many people do, what the implications are for this particular piece of legislation. This legislation is just symptomatic of what this government is about. This government is about trying to cast Australia in their own image, in your image, member for Mitchell. And guess what? Australia is a very different place to the one that you describe. Australia is made on the wonderful foundation of the oldest continuous surviving culture on earth. This nation is built on migration, and that is our strength. That is our diversity. That is our beauty, and that is who we are. And through this piece of legislation, and as the member for Watson has described, you want to create a permanent group of people who will virtually be stateless in this country because they will never be able to comply with the citizenship requirements. The citizenship requirements. You be quiet, buddy. the citizenship requirements. Now, let me be very, very, very clear about this. Labor objects to this bill. Labor objects to this bill because it is wrong, because it is unfair, and because we have gone out and the member for Watson has travelled the length and the breadth of this country talking to people about this particular piece of legislation. If there was a need for national security, fair enough, but it's based—
the member's time has expired.